Onega, from the beginning, has owed her existence to the railroads. The Central Railway Company began construction out of Leavenworth in 1872. They made it to Holton by the end of that year. People of Leavenworth promoted the continuation of the railway, and construction resumed in 1877. On October 15, 1877, directors of the railway filed a plat for the town of Onega. The town site was located in the northeast corner of Kansas in Pottawatomie County. Among those directors were Leonard T. Smith and Lucian Scott, both of which streets were named after. Paul E. Havens was also one of these directors, and the current town of Havensville was named after him. Havensville is about 8 miles northeast of Onega. The railway made it to Miltonville in 1881. Onega became a subdivision point between there and Leavenworth. After being operated by the Kansas Central Railway for many years, it was sold and recognized as the Leavenworth, Kansas and Western Railroad Company. Shortly after this reorganization, the road was acquired by the Union Pacific Railroad Company. The original tracks were eventually abandoned, causing 24 towns along the way to lose railroad access. Luckily, the Union Pacific Railroad Company was already in the process of building a new set of tracks running from Topeka to Marysville. These new tracks were located just feet away from the old tracks, and the new railroad depot was located at the corner of 2nd and Clifton Street. The town was officially formed in 1877, and by 1878, only 2 families lived in the town site. It didn't take long before others, hearing of the new town, came here to live, building business places and residences. Although the town was founded in the late 1870s, there are people in this area long before that, many of them farmers. Because of these farmers, the first school district was District Number 14, which began in 1863. Mrs. Paul Grimm taught out of her father's house until the first school building was built in 1864. In 1879 and 1880, a 2-story, 4-room building was finally built. With enrollment increasing, in 1912, a new building was built on the location of the current school. Years later, construction on the current building was completed in 1954. It's adjacent to the building built in 1912, which had previously housed both elementary and high school. In 1960, the current elementary school was built, replacing the building that was built in 1912. This kept the elementary and high schools separate. As enrollment continued to rise, a middle school was eventually added in between the high school and elementary schools. A new gym and commons area was also added to the high school. The Onega schools aren't the only things that have changed throughout the years, though. In 1920, the American Legion boys purchased a monument to honor those who fought in World War II. It was unveiled in its location on the intersection of 3rd and Leonard on November 11, 1920. The doughboy remained at the intersection until 1957, when the State Highway Department asked city officials to relocate it because it was a safety hazard to drivers. It was relocated to the Onega Cemetery. Sometime later, it was relocated once more back to Main Street, placing it 20 feet from where it had originally stood. As you can see, many things have changed throughout the years in this town that now has about 700 people. With all that change, though, there are still many things that have been here since the very beginning. Many of the buildings were built when the town was only beginning. Some of them have began to wear down, causing for them to be torn down or to be renovated. Like any town though, as things come down, other things go up. I was lucky enough to be born and raised in this small town, and I'm thrilled to have been able to share a taste of where I'm from with the world.